Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday, where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Good for Bitcoin. Before we start the show, I just want to mention, it's been kind of a slow week on the Bitcoin side, but it's been a pretty horrible week outside of Bitcoin in just the general news that's been going on. This is a Bitcoin show. We're not going to commentate on, everything that's been going on too much. But because this is a Bitcoin show, I wanted to mention just a couple things. One, there's been a lot of news this week that I've seen, like headlines and things like that have turned out to be false. And one thing that like Bitcoin has taught me is to be skeptical of a lot of these things. Be curious, don't just read headlines, try to find primary sources when you can. Like that has been very helpful just for me, just to make sense of all of the news that's been, getting thrown around on Twitter or X or whatever you call it. And secondly is, Bitcoin has this really powerful property of allowing us to find common ground, regardless of what our other beliefs are. And that's something that I think is one of the most powerful features of Bitcoin, right? You could disagree with a lot of things that somebody else might say, but Bitcoin is just this really great equalizer. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what religion you are, like anything, right? Like Bitcoin connects us all together in a really powerful way. I don't know. I just wanted to say something up front about, the stuff that's been going on in the world this week, because it's been kind of a down week overall. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you want anything to add off the top of your head, Kate, but
honestly,
otherwise we can get into it.
I couldn't have said it any better. So, I think you summed it up perfectly. And I think that's what brings us all together here is like this love for Bitcoin, for the truth, for freedom. And I really don't have anything else to add. So good way to start it.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
Well, welcome everybody. My name is Brandon, social media manager at Trust Machines, joined by my co-host, Kate. Happy Friday, Kate.
Happy Friday to you, Brandon, and to everyone else tuning in. How are you doing?
Yeah, otherwise pretty good. It's been kind of a quiet week on the Bitcoin side of things. Actually, a lot of news stories that came out today, which I thought was interesting. Usually you don't see a lot of stuff happening on Fridays like this, but good thing we record on Fridays and we don't record early so we can catch it all before the week is over. Had a lot of actual kind of Trust Machines product news this week to share. One, which I'm very excited for. We have, this show has a website, goodforbitcoin.com. Right now it just redirects to Spotify, but it's a lot easier to tell people to go to goodforbitcoin.com to subscribe to the show and listen back and give us a review. Cool. And do all the things.
How did you find this? Were you just like perusing around and typed it in, or how did you discover this?
I didn't realize that our company owned the domain. I was thinking about it the other day because I've just been thinking about, like, I feel like it's, we've kind of had the same brand, we've had the same like intro song. We've been talking about this for a while, right? On just refreshing things a little bit, and I was like, it'd be really cool if we had like a website to kind of go with it. And I typed in goodforbitcoin.com. And it redirected to Leather, and I was like, why is it redirecting to Leather? Is this like affiliated with us? And then found out that, we actually own it. So I was able to get it redirected to our Spotify listing instead, which is...
That's awesome.
Is cool. So shout out to us. I don't know who registered that in our company back in the day, but we already owned it. So now it's just directing to the right spot, which is cool.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Granite has started to tease points. We've already been talking about points a little bit. I was on the Stacks DeFi webinar thing last week. I'm talking about Granite points. We're getting very close to actually launching it. More to come next week is what I'll say there. Lots of exciting stuff happening on Granite very soon. You have been working on a lot of Leather stuff more recently. I think you wanted to share your screen and show off a couple things.
Absolutely. So Leather team has been really cooking on some really like fundamental changes to the mobile app. And there was like this series of upgrades that they're making, yeah, we just kind of thought like, well, what should we call this? And we call it like the little things. So it's all these little changes that are happening in Leather that just make your everyday experience much more easier, smoother, better to navigate. Just like little things that make sense for a Bitcoin wallet. So today we launched the, basically you can see your individual accounts within Leather on the mobile app. So you can check out the screen, but you should definitely go check it out in app as well. And one thing that you and I were talking about that I thought was really a really good way to break this down is in Leather, you can have multiple wallets. So this means that each wallet has its own seed phrase associated with that wallet, but then you can create individual accounts under each wallet. And so, maybe you like to have one wallet that you use for DeFi. Maybe you have one that you want for just for swapping. I don't know, however you like to break it up. Maybe you want one just to hold your collectibles. Think about like your bank account. You have various accounts for different purposes. It's kind of the same thing. So now you can go in and you can see each individual account, all of the activity that's associated within that account. So anytime you're sending, receiving, swapping, anything like that. You can also see the available balance. So obviously if you're stacking your stacks, those stacks are not spendable. So they would be considered locked and they will be basically distinguished in the wallet as available versus locked. So it's just like a really, in typical Leather fashion, a really clean UX and layout. And yeah, we're going to be dropping some other little Leather things, over the weekend, throughout next week, but you can always just go check those out in app and see how you like them. We're always down for feedback and improvement and seeing what you guys like the best.
Love it. Leather's been shipping a lot of really cool stuff lately, including all these little things. So yeah, very fun. I think I'm most excited for, and this is something that's still like a work in progress, is Ledger on the phones.
Yeah, totally.
So I can have like both like my hot wallet and my cold wallet in Leather at the same time on my mobile app. It's going to be really cool. Looking forward to that.
Me too.
We talked about it last week, but it has officially happened. The Zeali campaign, the STX DeFi campaign is over.
Crazy.
It's done. It was about 3 months long that the campaign was going on, and then several months of planning prior to that. Definitely end of an era. Still going to go through and do like a more in-depth report, but we had in total, just looking at all 5 seasons, there was 2,277 unique wallets that participated in the campaign, looking at on-chain data. All of those wallets generated 173,441 transactions during that campaign time, which accounted for 6.2% of all on-chain activity on Stacks. We made a little dent in in the Stacks ecosystem with all of those on-chain tasks getting completed.
That's huge.
Yeah, stay tuned for a more in-depth report. One thing that we were definitely trying to look at was, or that we still need to look at is, how many of those wallets are new versus, existing Stacks users? How many new users did we come in, and bring into the network? And maybe more importantly, of all of those wallets that participated in the campaign, how many of them are going to stick around even like a month or 2 from now and continue to use Stacks? So a lot of that data is going to be super interesting to dive into over time. But yeah, more to come, I guess, as we continue to just collect on-chain data and gather that info.
So useful.
Should we get into public company news?
Let's do it.
Nakamoto announced a $30 million investment in Metaplanet, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when like all these companies, like all these different treasury companies, like start to merge and invest in each other, and it's like getting kind of weird, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty sizable investment, so pretty interesting.
And then, Metaplanet itself bought another 136 Bitcoin, and they now hold 20,136. So they're getting up there.
Yep. Strategy bought 1,955 Bitcoin, so they now hold 638,460 BTC.
And then we have Figma. They added 177 Bitcoin to their balance sheet. They now hold 767 BTC. SaaS is entering Bitcoin.
Yeah. The Figma one, I think, is still one of the cooler ones for me because they're not like, this information is coming out in their, their public filings and stuff like that, but they're not really using it as a marketing angle. They're just like, yeah, we have Bitcoin because we're trying to fight inflation. Like, they're not making a big deal about it. It's just part of their general strategy to, again, to combat inflation. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, love it.
And then, Gemini this morning went public. So congrats to Gemini under the GEMI ticker. Trading began at $28 per share this morning. And I just checked right before the show, and it's now trading at $40.02. We'll see, how it closes. Usually it kind of goes up a lot and then it kind of goes down a little bit. That's how these IPOs tend to go. But so far, so good, I think, on their end.
Pretty cool. Congrats to the Gemini team.
We're going to send some more congrats over to our friends Jacob and Set Zeus. They launched a new resource called Bitcoin Yield, bitcoinyield.com, which is sort of designed to compare different Bitcoin yield products. So they talked about it as, I'll share my screen here just so we can see what it is that I'm talking about. But they sort of compared it to bitcoinlayers.org, which we, of course, reference on the show quite a bit. So they are talking about, it's sort of bitcoinlayers.org, but for yield. So it's comparing different yield products across all the Bitcoin layers in one place. So you can make just informed decisions on, risk and look at things like TVL and all the important things, that you might want to dive into. I saw Granite is already on there as a coming soon. They have some comparisons to like Zest and like Lightning Network is on there. I think Babylon's on there. So they've already started to publish some data there. But, Granite will be there soon, and of course more to come. So yeah, again, congrats to Jacob and to Set Zeus. We'll hopefully be referencing their site on the show in the future, like we do with Bitcoin Layers.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think like any kind of tool like this is so helpful. And yeah, I put in here, like, it reminds me of this website that I found. It's called rates.com. I can share quickly just so you can see what I'm talking about, but it'd be really cool to, here we go.
That looks better.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see, like, maybe if they could integrate with something like this. So you can compare, like, pretty much everything that the Bitcoin ecosystem has to offer. Again, it's just like things like this that make it much easier to navigate and kind of understand what's going on in this world, like in the Bitcoin world. So anyway, I think the resource is super cool. I'm excited to check it out more and see like how it develops. But yeah, kudos.
Yeah, very cool. We definitely need, resources like this are so great that try to just take like an impartial look. Like there's a lot of biases in this ecosystem, right? You're going to favor your own Bitcoin layer over others. So
yeah,
to have these types of comparisons that compare it just on a more equal kind of level playing field across all these different Bitcoin layers is super important to have. So yeah, it'll be a great resource.
I think it also gives you a lot of credibility if you can like understand what other people are building and where you sit next to them and like just lay it out clearly in like a non super flashy way. It's just, here's the numbers, here's the results. And yeah, I think that's like a really good approach to it.
100%. Yeah, moving on. So this one is interesting. So Kyrgyzstan has introduced a state crypto reserve concept in a new bill. So lawmakers passed amendments to their On Virtual Assets bill in 3 different readings, defining terms like a state crypto reserve and state crypto mining. So they're going to be getting into some of those things. The bill has not yet been signed by the president, but in a separate event on this Monday, he laid out plans for the country's AI and digital asset endeavors, which included a strategic crypto reserve. So safe to say he'll probably end up signing it, but I don't think he signed it yet for whatever reason. It's been a couple of days. But, just more countries getting into the mix with trying to acquire Bitcoin. Love to see it. Yeah.
I always think it's cool when people adopt or countries adopt like a mining strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're like really in it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, sBTC cap.
You take it.
Okay. sBTC cap is being removed on September 16th. So definitely marking a new era for Bitcoin on stacks. Previously, the cap was at 5,000. It was last raised in May. It's gone through a couple cap raises since it launched in, November of last year. I think with the cap being sort of officially removed, I think you can kind of definitively say that like sBTC is fully launched at this point, since there's no reservations on, how much you can put in, which is very exciting. They're also reducing the minimum amount that you can bridge in. So before you needed to bridge in at least 0.01 BTC, which was like over $1,000. Now you can bridge in 0.001 BTC, which is like $114. A little bit easier to onboard. And then withdrawals are already open, so you can take out as much as you need to as well if you've bridged stuff in the past. But yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I think this is awesome. I also think this is like great for builders because they're not necessarily thinking about like, oh, this minimum requirement that people must meet now to bridge in. It's like, I think a lower requirement to bridge in is like such a great move for accessibility and allows a lot more Bitcoin to flow.
Yeah, it has impacts too with like infrastructure, like onboarding providers, stuff like that. Even like exchanges, if you wanted to support sBTC, previously it was like kind of hard to do that, right? Because you wouldn't want to build out all this infrastructure if your users couldn't bridge in.
Yeah.
Because the cap was already full.
Yeah.
So it really unlocks a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of watch the charts to see, does it go up? Does it go down? What happens? I don't think they didn't make any comments on like the yield changing, the sBTC rewards program changing. So I think that's going to continue from what it sounds like. So you'll continue to earn a yield on sBTC. So yeah, great time to hold sBTC and continue holding it, I guess, but just going to make it easier. Yeah. For more people to come in.
Awesome. This next one I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you've heard, I personally have not really heard of this company, EasyJet, but they have basically a suite of brands, EasyJet, Easy Hotel, all of these like family of brands basically. And their idea is to make things like simple, affordable, that everyday people can buy, sell, or like use different products under each brand. And they're launching an Easy Bitcoin app, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's founded by Stelios. I can't even pronounce his last name, but he's a billionaire and he's making the move into the Bitcoin world. So Easy Bitcoin is going to be supported by Uphold, and they've rolled out an app so far in the US. I think the UK is coming later this year. But it's really their goal. They're saying that they're trying to take Bitcoin out of this like exclusive club vibe, which, okay, I see it, but there's like a lot of apps that are making Bitcoin accessible. But I think they're just like really trying to simplify this and put this under like under the Easy brand, kind of like bare bones, strip it down and make it just much more accessible. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Target the people that think that you have to buy a full Bitcoin.
Exactly.
You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can just use Easy Bitcoin.
There you go.
That's their marketing strategy.
Honestly, this could take off. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
It'll be cool to see like how, if it does take off, how it works. I tried to obviously download it and it's just not available in my app store, but
okay, I'll have to try.
Yeah, the UX looks pretty nice.
Cool. Another news, this just dropped this morning. Tether has unveiled USAT, so it's not USDT, it's USAT, USA. It's planned US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin. Bo Hines is going to be the CEO. He was, of course, kind of the digital assets. He had kind of a longer title, but he was under the Trump administration, kind of representing the digital assets initiative there. And he is now going to be the CEO of this new USAT. USAT, specifically, it's being launched in the US to comply with the recently enacted Genius Act. So it's going to comply with, US laws and regulations. Anchorage Digital is going to be their federally regulated kind of crypto bank, and Cantor Fitzgerald is going to act as their designated revenue custodian and will serve as their primary preferred dealer. So a lot of names that we talk about a lot, Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, Bo Hines, all coming together to form this new entity. But yeah, interesting. Like, I'm sure this will be successful because Tether just tends to be a very successful company. But I don't know like what necessarily is the, like, why would you use this over USDC? I don't really know. The press release wasn't like super clear on like what differentiates this, other than the fact that it's built by Tether. But it's not USDT, so you're not going to have the same liquidity that USDT has. I don't know. I don't know how like, I'm sure it's going to be successful, but I don't know like how successful, just because like, what is the actual like selling point of this over USDC?
I don't know. Maybe this is like a long game play, but anyway.
Yeah.
something that we will find out, I guess, in the
We will
years to come.
continue to watch it. I think that wraps it up, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. Anything else that caught your eye this week?
I did see something, but I haven't like dug into it. But I think there's a treasury company happening out of Africa, so that seemed new. But I haven't really dug into it much. I just kind of saw the headline. But I think they're like listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, so it puts Africa on the map.
Very cool.
Something to check out. But other than that, like it's been slow news for Bitcoin, really.
Yeah. I wonder if Nakamoto will have something to do with them as well, just because Nakamoto is trying to like invest in all these different
Every
countries.
market.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
they will.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, we will see y'all next week then. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, have a good weekend, y'all.
Awesome. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening. We record Good for Bitcoin live every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on X. Please follow us at Trust Machines Co. if you would like to listen and engage with us live. Visit us at trustmachines.co for all the latest Bitcoin news. We'll see you next week.